Good morning, Wildings. It's time for another intuitive tarot card reading. Today we're going to ask Spirit for channeled messages regarding why your person fell in love with you. I'm hoping for kind of more of a light-hearted reading. The last time I tried to do this, Spirit was giving me deep reasons. So let's go for something a little bit more chill, a little bit more fun, hopefully. But if that sounds good, stick around for the video. Hey there, Wildings. Welcome to your reading for why your person fell in love with you. As always, I've left a very brief description of each reading at the very bottom of the description box if you're practicing any self-care that entails avoiding triggers or only being open to certain readings. But hopefully this is a nice, fun, light one. So hopefully you won't have to, but obviously that's there for you if you ever need it. But for everyone else, getting channeled messages about why people in general or a specific person fell in love with you by using your intuition to select pile 1, 2, or 3. And wherever your intuition is sending you, I will see you there in a moment. Hey there, pile 1. Welcome to your reading for what your person or what people in general, the reason why they fall in love with you. So if you chose this beautiful purple fluorite crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a general reading, so there will be messages here that are for specific people. And there will also be better interpretations of the cards based on like your specific situation. So always utilizing your intuition and discernment when receiving a collective reading, which is a gift in itself. But let's get the general themes of why people fall in love with you using this astrology deck. Spirit, can we please have the general themes of why people fall in love with pile 1? Can we please have the general themes of why people fall in love with pile 1? Soul, the moon card. We're up to a good start. Solar eclipse, revolution. Do we have any other themes about why people fall in love with pile 1, please? Any other themes about why people fall in love with pile 1? I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's rainy here. Hopefully that adds to the ambience. Okay, so we've got a bit here, pile 1. We have the 3rd house of messages. It corresponds with Gemini energy and the more communicative side of the Mercury placement, whereas the more analytical side obviously corresponds with Virgo energy. We also have the Uranus placement, which is to do with like authenticity and kind of living in like a fullness of expression. We also have void, of course, of moon, which is like kind of feeling like something's missing, but hopefully we'll get some clarity on that when we continue with the tarot spread. We've got a Saturn return. Saturn is the planet of kind of like coming of age and responsibility, and living your truth and living your life purpose. It does also correspond with the 11th house of like friends, social media, colleagues, community. So kind of like finding your place within the broader world. We have the solar eclipse, which is revolution. It's also a very fiery energy. And then we have the moon card, which obviously corresponds with soul, intuition, divine feminine energy. It also corresponds with the 4th house of like roots, family, comfort, where we feel safe, and Cancer energy, which is a water sign. But let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot. All right, that just really wanted to pop out. Let's get a little bit more specific. We get any more? Can we clarify this world card, please? And the King of Swords, please. And the Nine of Cups, please. Whoop. And the Judgment card, please. Okay, it seems like there's a lot of reasons why people fall in love with you, Pile 1. So much wanting to jump out. Pile 1, I'm getting that you're probably a very deeply feeling person. Like there's a lot of cups energy here. I would say that your person or people in general find you very caring, very sweet, and you have a very benevolent outlook on the world and life. It seems like you see things like quite positively, and they really, really love that about you. I would say that like this Five of Cups energy is a like fixed water sign. It corresponds with Mars in Scorpio, which in astrology represents like transformation, beginnings and endings, like sex and metaphysics. So I would say that like people find you maybe a little bit mysterious, but also like on a path of growth and transformation. And as you're someone who along that path, like you are very, very, very deeply moved by life and what you experience. This Nine of Cups energy is Jupiter and Pisces energy, which is like an abundance of intuitive, psychic, sensitive kind of gifts. So you're probably very gifted in terms of your like kind of intuition and feminine energy. I'm getting that you're not overly analytical. Like I sense that you're kind of like very in the flow of life. And you potentially like channel a lot and get a lot of like divine guidance and support. I would say that you're also like creative, but in a very like go with the flow kind of way. Like it's not necessarily a super fiery, passionate, creative energy. It's kind of like creating in the flow of life. This Three of Wands energy is a sun in Aries. So Aries obviously can be very like cardinal, like starting new things and seeing opportunities for new things. So I'm getting that your creative is kind of like creating things that maybe are very innovative and very like fun and warm. With this kind of like Leo energy, and it's like from the sun, it's based on like I would say like maybe like more pleasure and fun. Threes in Kabbalah Tarot represent like the divine feminine as well, so it's like creative in a very feminine way. Like I'm not getting like hardly any masculine energy here. Obviously we have the Kings coming out, but this King of Pentacles I'm going to read as like that kind of like benevolent perspective on life, and kind of trusting life to bring you everything that you need. Potentially people also love your body, I'm also getting. But yeah, this King of Swords in reverse, I'm definitely getting not overly analytical, especially with this Ten of Swords also in reverse. And this Knight of Swords being like quite a like youthful energy. Like I'm not saying that you, like I think you definitely have opinions, but they're coming from more of like a channeled intuitive place, but not so much of like a structured analytical place. And people definitely find that very refreshing. Like I think there's not a lot of your kind of person in the world. Like I think people tend to be, I would say, more in their masculine and more analytical, just based on the world we live in. But yeah, you're definitely very unique, which was this Uranus energy. And I'm getting with this like moon energy, especially like coming out in this triangle, that you kind of like feel like a piece of the puzzle that's definitely missing in life for a lot of people. And so when they meet you, when people meet you, and maybe when your person met you, if you've got someone specific in mind, they found you very refreshing, very different, and very like kind of like going against the grain, and maybe like you transformed the way that they kind of like see the balance of life, because they do often see the same kind of cookie cutter person, but you're obviously very like unique, because we do have like a lot of synchronicity with like kind of transformative energy. Like I think you definitely change people's perceptions of life, and that you don't necessarily have to be in this very like yang analytical way of living to thrive, essentially. But what else do we have for pile 1 when it comes to why people fall in love with them? Why do people fall in love with pile 1, please? So this 8 of Swords energy is Jupiter and Gemini. So this is like, I'm going to read this as like abundance in terms of communication, which is like very like synchronistic of this 3rd house energy. Like I think people, like when you talk, they really listen to you. They like, when you talk, you don't alienate people. Like people, whatever you have to say, people are very keen to listen. Like it seems like definitely part of your like path in life is communicating to people, and getting them to see different points of view that maybe they wouldn't necessarily have seen had you not illuminated it to them. Anything else about why people fall in love with pile 1, please? Anything else about why people fall in love with pile 1? Okay, so this 5 of Pentacles energy corresponds with Mercury in Taurus. So it's like a fixed earth kind of energy. So I'm getting that you're like very grounded and down to earth, even though you are a little bit mystical. So like people find you like kind of that accessible in between like actually being able to talk to someone who's like not so away with the fairies that they're unrelatable, but still kind of like in the flow of all this like divinity that they like kind of illuminate a lot to people. Like I'm getting that you can show people that kind of like magical, mystical, intuitive kind of vibe doesn't necessarily have to be so far out there, I would say. Like you're still relatable, even though that you're very different and intuitive. I'm getting that you're also like abundant when it comes to love and compassion, especially for, I would say, like social issues or world issues. Yeah, this is kind of like the purest form of love that could have come out. But let's see what else we can get pile 1 in regards to why people fall in love with you. Okay, so we have wish wisely. I think potentially what you use your gifts for is very wise. Like I don't see you like abusing your intuitive and psychic gifts. I see you only like calling in and manifesting what feels really aligned for you. And I think that's a little bit to do with that down to earth energy that we spoke about before. Like you don't seem to be calling in anything that's like not for you in a sense. Yeah, you're very good at discerning like what you really want, and you would never like call something in for the sake of having it, and you're definitely very unique. As I was saying with this is like synchronicity with this void, of course, of the moon and the dark moon and the void. Like potentially a lot of how you got to this place was actually like kind of going through it in a sense. Like I would say that you didn't just wake up one day with all of these gifts as like abundantly present in you. You went through some stuff, and the stuff that you went through kind of taught you to surrender to the flow of life. It kind of like brought you out on the other side like very, very different. It was like a real revolution, and maybe that's why you're so relatable, because you've really lived both sides of the coin. So you kind of, that's how you like know how to speak to people in a way that's down to earth, even though you've become very mystical and magical over your lifetime. I'm getting that you don't fear a lot. I think when it comes up in you, you like name it and are very aware of it, and can kind of like have it sit beside you without always like kind of derailing you. Like I'm getting that like a very witnessing energy from it. And I think maybe like people are like kind of in awe about it, how you can be afraid of something and not let it completely derail you. Because there's a lot of people that just run around with their fears like totally overtaking their life. But I'm getting that that's definitely not you. I am fearless. This is a huge synchronicity. I'm fearless in the pursuit of what I desire. Yeah, I think you are definitely a fearless person. Like you've been through it and you know the kind of worst is behind you. You know now, because of everything that you've been through, that divine energy flows through you and you are a radiant being. And people fall in love with you for that. For having been through some stuff and coming out the other side, like very evolved. But I think I'm going to leave that here, pile 1. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. I hope it brought you some comfort or fun or whatever it was that you needed today. And if your reading resonated, don't forget to drop me a comment. I would love to hear it. And in any case, if you could like, comment, and subscribe to keep me on your feed, I would really appreciate that. But until next time, ciao. Hey there, pile 2. Welcome to your reading for why your person or why people in general fall in love with you. So if you chose this beautiful clear quartz, and this reading is probably for you. But as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It is a general reading, so there will be messages here for specific people. Just using your intuition and discernment as always to know what's for you, what's not for you, and what might have a better interpretation for your situation if it deviates slightly from the general energy in the reading. But let's get themes about why your person or people in general fall in love with you. Why do people fall in love with pile 2, please? Okay. Okay, so we have the 12th house, which has a lot to do with hidden secrets and realities. It also can be a very spiritual house. It is ruled by Neptune and Jupiter. So it brings like kind of lots of spiritual, imaginative, dreamy energy with it. We also have the Jupiter return card, which essentially like brings everything that Jupiter's associated to you. So like luck, abundance, good fortune. It's like a massive energy. It is also ruled by Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, sorry. And both of these placements correspond with the 9th house of spiritual development, spiritual awakening, travel, learning, like higher level learning, and like faith and spirituality. So all of these cards kind of have a very similar energy, I would say. We also have part of fortune increase, so I'm getting that you're just like a super abundant, probably like very like vital, full of life force kind of energy, especially with this Mars card coming out. Mars does rule the first house of self and body and identity. It's also corresponding with Aries energy, so I would say people definitely think that you're hot. And then we have the air element, which has a lot to do with communication, but also like the mind, thinking, and intellect. So you're probably a very intelligent person, I would say. But let's get a bit more specific using this traditional tarot. Spirit, can we please have more about why people find pile 2 so attractive? Why do people fall in love with pile 2, please? Can we clarify this Queen of Swords energy, please? We clarify this. Thank you. Okay. Pile 2, I can see that you see what needs to be said. You can reveal the hidden truths and higher truths about a situation. You communicate them, and you honor whatever that higher truth is. And you are definitely a very powerful person, and that's only increased by your ability to see the truth and name the truth. It's something that a lot of people really admire about you, and fall in love with you for. Like your honesty, and your perception, and your power. Like honesty, perception, power, that's like heavily the energy in these cards. The Queen of Swords is obviously a very perceptive and truthful energy, which I think is why it came out first. And then the Four of Wands is a Venus in Aries energy. I think this came out in reverse because you wouldn't keep the peace for the sake of keeping the peace. Like you want to honor what's true, based on like kind of higher meanings in life, and like maybe a more like kind of like an intimacy with the real root cause or underlying truth, that maybe people aren't seeing. Maybe it's kind of like under the radar, but you definitely have the strength and the power to call this out. Maybe this hasn't always been the case, but it's definitely something in you now that people really, really respect. Because like you bring a lot of strength to this Queen of Cups energy, which is a very intuitive energy. It can be very calm, but it coming out with this strength card, I'm saying like it's much more of a powerful intuition based on what it's clarified by. This Three of Swords energy is a Saturn in Libra. So this is responsibility for the truth, and also like responsibility for honoring like the balance of life. Which I think you are really intimate with. Like you see kind of both sides of the coin. And this Seven of Swords energy is a moon in Aquarius. So this is kind of like, again, that intuitive energy, because the 11th house can be quite spiritual. Aquarius energy can be quite spiritual, especially with the moon card. Like you're calling out like higher truths and more intimate versions of like reality that maybe other people aren't seeing with this 12th house card coming out. So I would say a lot of people fall in love with you for your mind, for your power, for your honesty. I associate swords energy, which is very heavily coming out here with like being beautiful. Like I would call wands energy hot, cups energy like sweet and cute, swords energy like beautiful, and what's last? Pentacles energy. I'm blanking. Like, have I said hot? So sexy for wands, hot for pentacles, beautiful for swords, and sweet and cute for cups. I don't know if that came out right the first time, but I got there in the end. So I'm saying people definitely find you beautiful. Like I think the beauty of your mind really enchants people, especially with this 6 of Cups energy. 6 of Cups is like Sun in Scorpio energy, which like personally I find very, very enchanting. You can kind of see from this artwork that it's like very enchanting kind of card. 6 in Kabbalah Tarot usually represents some sort of beauty or balance or consciousness, connection of the divine and the physical. And like I think people like really deep down they want the truth. They know there's higher truths, but maybe they don't know how to unpack them. Like maybe people don't have the same like power and clarity that you do. Like they don't see everything the same way you do. So you're very refreshing. You have a very refreshing perspective. And it's a very, I would say, mature perspective. Like I would say people probably call you wise beyond your years a lot, especially with this Page of Cups coming out upside down, which can be kind of like a very like honeymoony, not really real kind of spilling over of like love, intuition and all that sort of stuff. Like I'm getting that you're very mature in that regard, and people really respect that about you. Yeah, so people definitely, there's a lot that people love about you. I'm getting that you're probably also very generous just with the amount of like abundance cards that came out. Do we have anything else about why people... I'm getting that like even though you potentially see situations very differently, that you don't try and control them or it's not like when you share these truths that you feel called to share, rather than kind of keeping the peace. It's not like you actually like are overly attached to how people receive those messages. And I think that's very refreshing. And I think people really appreciate that about you, that you can share something from a place of like detachment of the outcome, and like kind of letting the chips fall where they lay in a sense. Yeah, I think people are very attracted to you. They think that you'd be a really great partner. So the Four of Swords is a Jupiter and Libra card. So Libra is like kind of that partnership energy in your chart, and Jupiter is like an abundance energy. So I'm getting with these two cards coming out that people definitely often want to be in relationship with you, because you seem like a really good partner. I think especially because of this like detachment, like you can really see other people's point of view and like share your point of view from a place of like truth and honesty, for like deeper meanings, but still respect that other people have different truths that are maybe not as deep and spiritual, but equally true. And this, I'm getting from this Knight of Wands energy, which is a Moon in Sagittarius card. I'm getting that this is coming out upside down, because it's like signifying that your intuition is never something that you're going to like overpower people with. Like, because coming out upright, the Knight of Wands can often reflect kind of like going really hard with something. But I think like you can kind of like let it go, kind of similar to this Chariot energy that we talked about. Like kind of let go and let God, and like not be overly attached to the outcome. Which, yeah, I think definitely people call you wise beyond your years, and you're very, very mature. Can we get anything else about why people fall in love with pile 2? Yeah, I feel like you feel like a blessing in people's lives. Like your perception and honesty feels like very refreshing. And as I was saying before, like I think you're probably very generous. Like you give a lot to the people in your life and you really care about them and you want to see them succeed. Do we have anything else about why people fall in love with pile? Yeah, I think it's this real acceptance for life and acceptance for two different points of view, and knowing that they can coexist like without like in balance with each other. Because like, yes, you may be able to uncover some like deeper spiritual truths, but like there's so much space for everyone's truth in the world. Yeah, I think this power that we were talking about before is definitely like very solar plexus kind of chakra power. Like you're very powerful in your body, and you're very good at like uncovering the truth, discerning like kind of what's head in the clouds, like kind of illusion, and what's like burning truth. Do we have anything else about why pile 2, why people fall in love with pile 2? Yeah, you really like radiate this like queen energy, like this sovereign energy. Like I think a lot of the energy in this reading could be interpreted as masculine, and maybe there are some divine masculines here, but I think for the majority of people, you're probably divine feminine, but a very, very, very powerful divine feminine. You probably resonate with like witch and high priestess archetypes rather than kind of like more of the empress and kind of Eve archetypes. You're a very powerful person. So we have, I am in full control and I have the power to attract all that I desire. Yeah, like I think you're very powerful, you're very abundant, like you attract a lot. And you're very kind of like at home within yourself, very in control within yourself. And that's kind of what allows you to like let go of control externally that we were talking about before. Like it doesn't worry you kind of what people do with the truth that you share, because you're in control within yourself, and your control within yourself is not challenged by other people seeing things differently. This is like a very woke energy pile 2, but I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. If it resonated, don't forget to drop me a comment, but if you can like, comment and subscribe, that will help me stay on your feed a lot more often. Until then, ciao. Hey there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading for why your person, or why people in general, fell in love with you or fall in love with you. So if you chose this beautiful crystal, then this reading is probably for you. But as always, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This is a general reading, so there will be messages here for specific people. So it's important that you use your intuition and discernment to know what's for you, what's not for you, what maybe has a better interpretation for your situation. If your energy slightly deviates from the general energy in this reading. But with all that said, let's get some general themes about why your person or people in general fall in love with you. Okay, so this is very like attractive energy, like straight off the bat. The first house of the body, obviously, they think that you're very, very hot, think you're very, very attractive. And Black Moon Lilith is like a very feminine kind of sexy. We have a bit coming out for general themes about why your person or people in general fall in love with you. Okay, so we obviously have both water and air elements. So air element is like thinking, communication. It corresponds with the sword suit, so it's kind of like contemplating as well, like contemplative energy. It's associated with air signs, so Aquarius, Gemini. Am I blanking on the third air sign? Aquarius, Gemini. Why am I blocked? Aquarius, Gemini, air, Libra, duh. It happens. Anyway, and we also have the water element, which has to do with like sensing, intuition, love, relationships, psychic abilities. It corresponds with the cup suit, and Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces energy. We have the 12th house as well, which corresponds with Pisces energy, so a lot more kind of like watery energy. It also corresponds with the Jupiter and Neptune placements. So Neptune's like a very spiritual, dreamy kind of energy. And Jupiter just like makes anything kind of like go hard or go home energy. So we also have, as I was saying before, the first house body card. It also corresponds with Aries and Mars energy. We have the Black Moon Lilith card, which is like very high priestess energy. It's like kind of the blueprint of the divine feminine. Kind of like pre the Empress and Eve, kind of more gentle feminine that we might associate with today. It's like kind of more of that innate power of the like blueprint of what the divine feminine is. We also have the North Node, which corresponds with our life purpose. We also have a fair few 3s and 4s and 2s. So if those angel numbers mean anything to you, there's your confirmation. But let's get specific messages about why your person or people in general fall in love with you using this traditional tarot. There is a lot trying to jump out, I'm not gonna lie. If we get more messages about anything else about why people fall in love with pile 3. Can we clarify this King of Wands and Two of Wands energy? And can we clarify the Justice card too, please? Pile 3, I'm getting that people see you as very sexy, very hot, very intuitive, very creative, a very powerful high priestess kind of divine feminine energy. I would say people probably find you a little bit refreshing in terms of the divine feminine. Like as I was kind of saying earlier when we were picking our astrology cards, like you definitely fit more of the like blueprint divine feminine. So that's the Lilith and high priestess energy rather than the Eve and Empress energy. That's kind of like a evolution of that divine feminine energy that very much exists within the world that we live in, like based on the world that we live in. Like it's a very like kind of cardinal divine feminine energy rather than the divine feminine that's been not changed, but well, yeah, changed by the world that we live in to become much more soft and gentle. Like I'm not getting that same kind of soft and gentle energy. You might resonate with like artist and witch kind of archetypes, because there's a lot of that kind of energy here. There's like, I'm seeing like maybe that you express a lot of your intuition and wisdom through creativity. Like I'm getting that maybe the way that you communicate what you know and what you see is some sort of like creative endeavor. So you're probably either practicing witchcraft or an artist or just like very creative. I'm getting that like you kind of know that it's your purpose to maybe not necessarily name things directly, but to create and inspire people, because maybe like what you would express, the truth that you would express is maybe like a little bit beyond where the consciousness of mankind is right now. Like I'm getting that you're a little bit evolved. So almost the only way to actually express like all of this stuff that you're intuitive about and connecting to and sensing and psychic about and all that sort of stuff is through kind of like creative endeavors where people will kind of feel a resonance on a soul level, but they would never be able to necessarily articulate what it is that they're like feeling through the expression of whatever it is that you're creating. I'm getting from this King of Wands and Two of Wands energy in reverse that you have a very, very, very present divine feminine energy. So twos in Kabbalah Tarot is the divine masculine and threes are the divine feminine. So I'm getting that you definitely kind of like don't express creatively in a very masculine way. It's in a very feminine, flowy way. I would say a lot of it has to do with like maybe sex or pleasure or creating something like really beautiful with the Six of Wands. And I would say that people probably find you very, very enticing physically and want to sleep with you. Like you definitely kind of lure people into sleeping with you, and you probably awaken them by doing that, but maybe they don't realize until it's too late. Like I'm getting that you kind of lure people in and like really shift them. And I think this is especially for the people who have someone specific in mind. Like I think like maybe you drew someone in because of your physical like beauty and hotness and sexiness, but then once they slept with you, they were like ping, lights on, like went through an awakening. And yeah, definitely shifted a lot for them and was like a lot more than they bargained for. I'm sensing that like you're just like a powerhouse in terms of this like divine feminine energy. I'm getting that maybe you resonate with maybe some mother archetypes as well. Maybe you're either a good mother or people think that you would be a good mother, and people potentially, like, even though they might be lured in by your physical beauty to begin with, at some point they definitely reach this kind of like point of power and clarity and understanding that you actually could be a really good mother to their children. So you potentially make people want to wife you. I'm getting I think maybe you also intimidate people a little bit. Like I think you definitely stir some stuff up in people, especially because you're like so kind of alive and awakened. You've kind of like reached a very peak manifestation of a lot of kind of like the earthly experiences, and so you can definitely rattle people, but I think also like you're so when someone trusts you, you're so like calm and warm and caring that they can kind of like surrender into that and allow themselves to be transformed by you. So even though they might resist it or might be a little bit afraid, eventually like you really draw people into the spiritual work, which is maybe part of your life purpose. Like part of your life purpose is like drawing people in and like upgrading them spiritually. So I have this 3 of Cups energy, which corresponds with Mercury in Cancer. So Cancer is obviously a very watery feminine energy, and 3s are also very much the divine feminine and harmony in Kabbalah Tarot. I think you I think people see you as definitely someone that they can build a life with, and talk to very openly. Like I'm sensing that you like don't judge people when they share with you, and like you kind of like get it essentially. Yeah, I'm getting that you're very supportive and empathetic towards people. And so I think this kind of energy that people eventually get to with you makes them feel really safe to do the work. But I wouldn't say that's necessarily how they start feeling. Like I think they very much start the work from a very intimidated and a little bit overwhelmed place. But yeah, people definitely are very attracted to you physically. They're attracted to you in terms of partnership. People definitely really want to be with you. If you have someone in mind, like I'm sensing that they really, really, really want to be with you. I hope you can still hear me over the rain. It just started pouring down. We'll see. We will see. Okay, I think you heal people. You're definitely a healer. You have a very healing energy. I think people come to you to be healed and knowing that they will be healed by being in your presence. Yeah, you have a very discerning, like Black Moon, Lilith, High Priestess energy. Like I would say the Eve and Empress aren't as great with boundaries, but Black Moon, Lilith, and High Priestess definitely are. Like they're much more powerful expressions of divine feminine energy. Yeah, I think you definitely lure people into the darkness of their soul, and that's scary, but sometimes the only way to like evolve spiritually is going through all that shadow work. So I think you definitely, part of your healing is like inspiring people to do their shadow work and supporting them through their shadow work, especially partners. And yeah, you're just like hella attractive. Like all of this has been like so attractive, such attractive energy. People are like super attracted to you. Okay, we've got some affirmations. Oh, we've got a lot. We have, I radiate prosperity and I manifest success. I choose to accept myself just as I am because I am my own beautiful creation. I trust in the divine timing of the universe. I count my blessings and give thanks for all that I have. My heart is filled with eternal gratitude. I think this is like a little bit of like your energy in general, and just anything that it's also a reminder to come back to that energy if you ever get a little bit lost or wayward from it. But I think I'm going to leave that here. Pile 3, I think that's enough to kind of sit with and take with you. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. And if you can drop me a comment to let me know if it resonated, I would love to hear it. But in any case, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would really appreciate that, and it'll help me stay on your page a lot more often. But until then, ciao. That's all I have for you guys today. My name's Jade Rewilding, and I'll be on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way through, I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to keep me on your page. But until next time, ciao.